All right, shalom, shalom. Hey, first and foremost, before I get started, as always, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Hashem Shai, which Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father. Yahweh Shai, that whom this world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, it's his true name. And the Hakah, that is the Holy Spirit. And I would like to also give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. And salutations to all you brothers out there. And I just want to do a quick skillful adding to the brother Malak out there in Detroit, his video that he made. And it's entitled Hakah and Hasad Try to Pull a Fast One. All right. And, these guys, as the brother had stated, they're real scumbags, And basically, if you haven't seen this video or have seen this footage, they take two shorts, all right, or two clips that are actually from Vocab Malone, mind you, all right? Because I remember these two clips in specific, that Vocab used on his channel, trying to say that we have quote unquote, white, men in our camp, right? And, Vocab was trying to say that we were hypocrites, whatever the case may be, right? But I find it funny that these two individuals put it on their channel, basically saying the same thing. They're actually, these guys are saying that these two brothers are, Gentiles, teaching the Bible, which according to the scriptures, if let me get this real quick, because you know what? It says what? Through thy precepts, I get understanding. You see, these guys, they don't go precept upon precept, all right? Line upon line, here a little, there a little. They don't do that, you see? And that's why their doctrine is all over the place, all right? And there's a reason why I'm bringing this out. But I want to get this real quick. This is the book of Psalms. I think it's 119. Yeah, this is Psalms 119 and 104. Through thy precepts I get understanding. Therefore I hate every false way. Okay, so that's how we get understanding. Through the precepts. Okay, lining things up correctly. Now the reason why, like I said, there's a reason why I brought that out. Because according to the scriptures, all right, according to Daniel, the 12th chapter. This is Daniel chapter 12. Where is it at? Right here. This is Daniel chapter 12, verse 10, and it reads, "Many shall be purified and made white and tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand." Okay? Now, with that being said, if these brothers, all right, are truly Edomites, they wouldn't be able to understand. Because according to the scriptures, doesn't it say in the book of Malachi that, Esau is the border of wickedness? They are the wicked, right? You see? That wouldn't make any sense. Heathens cannot get these scriptures, okay? They can't understand, the Bible in its entirety, all right? So, with that being said, that's that statement that Hakah and Hasad had made, that saying, these Gentiles, are teaching the black Hebrew Israelites. That's a false statement, man. All right? Look, these brothers are Israelites. And I'll say this, right? Because I'm going to use myself as an example, right? Because I believe, and I'll say this because I know I talked to the brother on the right. He's from, I believe, Memphis. Yeah, he's from Memphis, okay? And, is he from Memphis? I know he's from Tennessee. I'm trying to think of what's the other city in Tennessee? I believe he's in Memphis, though. Point being, though, is I talked to this brother. We were going back and forth, with some messages, and if I'm not mistaken, this brother is his background goes to the so-called Germans. Okay, now the brother on the left, I haven't spoken to him. I don't know his background like that. But I know he's been in the camp for a while. But I'll say this, right? I'm going to use my background, all right? So my mom's so-called white, right? But my dad is so-called Mexican, right? Which I'll say this, I don't even believe I'm an Israelite, but whatever, that's neither here nor there. Because everything is very spiritual, right? If you know, you know. But I'll say this. That's like calling me a white man. This is a Gentile teaching. And I'll say this, look, brother, I know where my people come from. All right? So that's not going to work for me. So that doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? If we're going to base things off of appearance, that does not make any sense. All right? And this is why, you got to, for those who are listening and learning, you got to be very, very cautious on who you're watching. Because they could have, X amount of the scriptures on point, but look, these guys are off on some key things. And for whatever reason, don't ask me, why they did it. Because I can only, speculate. But for whatever reason, these guys have switched up the doctrine after 10 plus years of teaching. Now all of a sudden, the Gentiles can, they can receive salvation. They're going to partake in our inheritance, which that doesn't even make any sense, when you really, break these scriptures down. Because think about it like this, right? That covenant, that was made with our forefathers. No other nation was there. So that's ridiculous that they will partake in the new covenant. How could these heathens partake in the new covenant if they weren't even there for the first? It's just folly and madness. And then, according to Psalms, the 2nd chapter, I believe the 10th verse, it says what? That I will give you the heathen for thy inheritance. So how are they going to partake in our inheritance if they are a part of our inheritance? That absolutely makes no sense. When you start, getting these precepts out. But what I believe, this is just my 2 cents. Like I said, I can only assume these things. I don't have, actual proof. I believe these guys, sold out, took a bag. And the other thing too, and this is just, my belief. I believe that they possibly got approached and they might be, facing some jail time. Because remember, these guys were a bunch of scammers, schemers. You know what I'm saying? Always doing something. And maybe they got caught up and Esau approached them. You never know. You never know. All right? But the fact that, I'll say this, that they took our, clips and put them on their page and saying that our brothers that are in our, in the churches are heathens and Gentiles, that's real low, man. That is some real low level stuff. And really what you're doing now is being a false accuser. And that's a heavy crime. Okay? When you go into the scriptures, being a false witness, being a false accuser, that's a high level offense to Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. Okay? And the Lord doesn't take these things lightly. And you guys are going to have to pay for that. Because look, because really when you think about it, right? You're basically saying that we here at GMS are giving the heathens, and in particular Esau, the pass. We're giving them the pass. Which we do not. Hey, we go in, We go in. And we tell these heathens, hey, they're going into slavery. They're going to deal with, this hardcore punishment. And then we're the only group that, from what I, really hear. Now, I'll say I don't listen to a lot of these. I'll say this: I don't really listen to any other group unless some, BS pops up. But just throw it out there. I don't really hear any other groups talk about. I don't hear them preaching how Esau is going to be exterminated, We're the only group that brings out Obadiah. You know what I'm saying? So that's very offensive what they did. All right? And the Lord's going to deal with these guys. I'm telling you, Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai is going to deal with all these false prophets. I think it's Jeremiah, the 23rd chapter is coming, man. Woe unto you false prophets, right, and pastors. It's coming, man. They're going to be dealt with. All right? But I just wanted to do a quick lesson. It was just a little fast in transit. This was something that I was watching, and the Spirit, hopped on me to make a response, because, the main reason why I wanted to do this is because I'll say this, for edification purposes. I know my background. Even though I look like an Edomite, I know my background. See, these brothers, all they know is being so-called white. You know what I mean? So you might have somebody attack them. But I'll say for me, I know my background. All right? So, you can't use a so-called color thing, an appearance thing. All right? And, like I said, it's just for the edification. Maybe this will help build up a brother's spirit. Because I know there's a lot of brothers that may have a demon, messing with their mind, saying that they're a heathen because they look a certain way. Hey, if you can hear these words, you're an Israelite brother, all right? And don't let these demons mess with your mind. It's just something that you got to battle. Hey, remember, we're under curses, and we all deal with different things. And I like to always bring out how we all have our tailor-made cross to bear. And this was something that the Lord gave you to walk with. And if you're a man of the Lord knows that you're able to handle it. All right. But hey, with that, I'm gonna end this lesson, and we're gonna give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. Also, I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and salutations to all you brothers out there. Shalom.